Good afternoon and welcome to our fourth Jamlab Demo Day. My name is Tapo Chabalala and I head up the Jamlab project here at Wits Journalism. Demo Day marks the end of 6 months for our teams on our accelerator program, and it's where we witness the achievements made by startups throughout this journey. And finally, these teams will also join our ever-growing alumni family. This year, as in years past, Jamlab Day will be a time of celebration where we bring together a slice of Africa's startup community to hear from a bunch of amazing founders on our program. They will take the virtual stage to share details about the companies they are building. And as always, members of the audience like you can eagerly await the opportunity to learn more about how you can help. This afternoon, we are going to see 6 pitches from this year's Jamlab Accelerator cohort. But before we get into today's nitty-gritty of the gathering, I just want to give you a brief overview of why we do what we do. The main goal at Jamlab is to strengthen innovation in African independent journalism and media, as well as grow the diversity of the continent's voice in the public space. I'm sure we are all aware that over the years, and more so during the past year, we've seen how traditional media is facing a perfect storm of change. One of those major changes that media organizations are experiencing, especially now in the time of COVID, is the great challenge of staying alive and finding alternative revenue models. But despite such challenges, the African media landscape also has a great deal of fascinating innovation to offer. At JamLab, we believe that good ideas need to be known so that others can learn from them. And in the same breath, failed ideas also need to be known for the same reason. So how do we do this? We run 3 programs under the Jamlab umbrella that are mutually reinforcing one another: the Accelerator Program, the Knowledge Program, and the Community of Practice. At the top of the triangle, you will see we have the Accelerator Program, which influences innovation in journalism and media sector on the continent, while the Community of Practice, at the bottom left corner of the triangle, strengthens mentoring and investment in Accelerator teams. To the bottom right corner of the triangle is the Knowledge Program, which informs the Community of Practice. Learnings from the Accelerator informs our knowledge base, while research on innovation in Africa informs the Accelerator. And under the Knowledge Program, we document and share learnings from the Community of Practice and also the Accelerator. But of course, today, the focus is on the Accelerator. Since our inception in 2017, we've run 3 accelerator programs, with the 4th coming to an end today. Over the past 3 years, we've accelerated 24 teams, of which 13 are women-led. A number of the teams have gained investment immediately after completing this program, and many of them continue to grow. In September 2020, we started the 4th accelerator cohort with 8 teams from Zimbabwe, Zambia, Angola, Madagascar, Botswana, eSwatini, and Malawi, but only 6 managed to complete the program. The startups on the accelerator are at different stages at the beginning of the program. Some were just concept on paper, and others were at pre-seed stage or MVP stage. The common thread through all these startups is that over the past 6 months, they've worked hard to develop and refine their ideas, which will allow them to take their businesses to success. But of course, we don't do all this work on our own. Jamlab wouldn't be what it is today without the support of funders. A big thank you goes out to the Swedish International Development Agency through the CHARM Consortium for their generous support and believing in the work that we do here at Jamlab. Thank you to the Open Society's Program on Independent Journalism for supporting the Knowledge Program, and not forgetting our partners, Timologong, as well as Wits Journalism, where we are based, and Wits University. So a bit of housekeeping before we get started with today's proceedings. We have 6 startups that will showcase what they've been working on over the past 6 months. If you like any of them, these startups, and you'd like to get in touch with them, we've shared a startup brief with you on email, but we'll also share that in the link in the chat as well, pardon me. Please feel free to contact them and engage with them. If you have any questions throughout this session, please ask questions or comments and make the use of the chat box or the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen. Lastly, in the words of Professor Franz Kruger, the famous Professor Franz Kruger, please tweet and tweet often. please make use of the hashtag Jamlab Demo Day. I think that's it from my side. Let's get into today's business. So the first team, led by Manik Mlela, who is the founder of iHub Online. He hails all the way from Malawi. Let's welcome iHub Online to the virtual stage.
Hello, my name is Malik Mnela, and I'm the founder and managing editor for iHub Online. This is a digital media startup based in Malawi, Lilongwe to be specific. And in this presentation, I'm going to tell you what iHub is all about and what we have been doing over the past year since our establishment. And this presentation will highlight what we have this far achieved, the challenges that we are facing, and the ambitious plans that we have going into the future. So iHub Online is a digital media company that is based in Lilongwe, the capital of Malawi. And we are ambitious in the sense that we are trying to democratize information amongst a population segment that is not regarded as viable by the mainstream media due to several factors. So this is a segment for the underprivileged, but we also work with stakeholders that will also work to target these, and these include the government, the NGO sector, as well as the not-for-profit institutions. Our mission really is to offer low-cost, professionally moderated media services on the internet. So we are trying to leverage on the opportunities that are presented by the internet. We all understand that the internet may be perceived as expensive, especially in Malawi, which is documented as one of the most expensive countries to be online. Nonetheless, we realize that the internet still provides an opportunity to democratize information in the sense that it collapses all barriers to entry in the media industry, especially for those of us who would like to operate in the media space. So along the same lines, our vision is to democratize information through innovative methods in the digital space. Like I just said, internet enables us to cheaply venture into the media space without really looking at the cost structure that was hitherto a barrier for those that wanted to venture into the media space. So our business model is hybrid in the sense that we offer freemium news content. We offer content absolutely free, but on the other arm of our business, we have a segment that deals with digital media services, and we offer premium services. And these premium services attract a fee, and this fee enables us to invest in the freemium business model. So the freemium model as well as the premium model, they work in a hybrid way, and they are complementary to each other. What are our unique attributes? We are small. This enables us to have a niche media focus. We only focus on the digital media space. In the news segment, we offer general news, but in a different way from the way other news outlets do deliver. So in our case, we really target information that has a huge implication on the general population. So that's the news that we'll focus on most. Our operations are mostly virtual. We are operating out of the internet, and that enables us to operate effectively. Only 20% of our operations are conducted in brick and mortar facilities. We thrive on the presence of a tech-savvy crop of journalists that are really reputable. Either these are award-winning or they are journalists that are known to be reputable in terms of their professional conduct. Now, looking at the achievements that we have made so far, First and foremost, I must mention that these achievements and most of these achievements wouldn't have been possible without iHub Online being admitted into the Jamlab. Having been admitted into the Jamlab enable us to assess who we are, where we are coming from, and have an idea of where we want to go. Now, because of this idea, we have managed to secure business, even at a nascent stage. We have managed to secure business from the government of Malawi. And one of the top businesses that we have had is that we have been contracted at some point to manage the virtual meetings of the country's vice president, Dr. Salos Chidima. That is one of our major assignments. We have also been assigned by the United Nations Development Program to manage their webinar, especially the launch of the Human Development Report of 2020, which launches in Malawi locally today. And my company is managing the webinar and the official launch that is taking place online due to COVID-19. We have also managed to handle officially the graduation ceremony of several universities, and we're in the process of handling another graduation ceremony for one of the country's prominent universities. And we are also a recipient of a COVID-19 grant from the European Union through the international media support. And this has helped us build resilience in terms of our news platform online and offering live streams that are public interest journalism in nature. So in a way, you can see that the Jamlab has positioned us very well to be a niche leader in the digital space in Malawi, not only in providing live streams for public service journalism, but also build resilience in terms of our liquidity and our financial muscle. So our ambition in the long term is to be the niche leader in the digital space, but also in the digital news space. We have had challenges, so our cost structure remains large. Considering our background, we need a lot of resources to acquire state-of-the-art equipment for live streaming. We also operate in a country that is known to be very expensive in terms of internet access. This has two effects. The first effect is that we are not able to have the crowd that we want to have because they are limited and barred by the cost of internet bundles. But on the other hand, we also operate on a tight budget in terms of us acquiring those bundles. But it's something that we are proud of to have received the grant from the EU, because it has enabled us to procure better internet, which is relatively expensive, and it has enabled us to provide our services in a much better way. Now, our ask is that if we were asked to name a figure that would enable us operate effectively and avoid the bottlenecks that we are facing, possibly something within the $25,000 budget for the next 1 year and a half should enable us to acquire the assets that we require and also take care of the most prominent costs, especially the internet would be taken care of on that budget. So way forward, we believe that a sustainable capacity building effort is something that we have in mind, because we noted that the capacity that we built through the Jamlab has enabled us to get a 60% jump in our revenue, but also we would want to look at the options for diversified revenue. We would also want to leverage on partnerships. We would also want to get into as many fellowships as possible so that we equip our human resource. We would also want to see a lot more business coming our way and taking advantage of our digital preparedness, but also we want to leverage on low-cost innovations that will encourage people to go online. Now, the journey continues. We are certainly at a stage where we cannot say that our business model is refined. We are open to suggestions. We are open to ideas. We are open to insights such that those of you who believe have ideas that can help us become better at what we do, that's indeed most welcome. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Malik. It looks like we've lost Malik there while he was online, but we'll continue asking him his questions once we manage to get him back up. In the meantime, let's move on to the second team from this cohort. That is Priscilla Nyati from the team called Green Space Zambia. Welcome to the stage, Priscilla.
Welcome to Lusaka, a beautiful, vibrant city right in the heart of Africa. Now, Lusaka, like other cities in Zambia, is growing very fast, and with 44% of the population living in urban areas, it puts tremendous pressure on our urban resources. Property development means land is now being cleared for housing and shopping complexes. The government has also spent billions of dollars on infrastructure in the last few years, building roads and bridges and huge complexes. But this development comes at a cost to natural ecosystems in those areas. In addition, huge amounts of land are also being cleared for agricultural projects. In our economic environment, with an ever-devaluing currency and increasing unemployment, it's understandable to see why people look to farming as a source of income. But what's the impact of all this tillage and chemicals on the soil? Legislation and regulations that protect the environment exist, but implementation continues to be a challenge, and as a result, destructive and extractive practices continue. The term green space is used globally to refer to urban spaces that have been set apart for vegetation. As already described, green spaces are becoming scarcer in Zambia's towns and cities. This could, however, be mitigated by making people conscious of the environmental impact of their activities.
Hi, I'm Priscilla, and I'm one of the directors of Green Space Zambia. Green Space Zambia is a plant nursery based out in Lusaka, which offers both retail and corporate plant services.
Our mission is to inspire people to create their own green spaces around them through gardening. Through our engagement with clients, we found that there is a hunger for basic home gardening information, which you can't find on DSTV or on the National Broadcasting Service. So we launched the Green Space Media Project to provide basic gardening information through videos. You've heard the saying, there's nothing new under the sun, and it's true. Most of the information we want to provide is easily available through a Google search. We've observed that people choose not to look it up in the way that they could, even though the use of smartphones is commonplace. People would rather go and get advice from someone they know and trust than from a website. Online Facebook communities are thriving. The Gardening in and Around Zambia Facebook group, for example, has over 50,000 members, and the Small Scale Farmers group has over 500,000 members. Both these groups provide a discussion forum for the members, which shows that not only is there an interest, but people do want to share and learn from others. At Green Space, we recognize that gardening looks different for everyone. Some people like ornamental gardening, others prioritize food, others design their space around relaxation. All our videos target these different interests, keeping in mind the ultimate goal being the creation of greener spaces within Zambia's urban areas, while preserving the soil, the water, and the natural ecosystems around us. The Green Space Media Project started off with the aim of creating video content that would provide practical tips for all aspects of eco-friendly gardening. And it's been an interesting learning curve for us. We've spent the last year learning more about video production, and so far have put out more than 50 short videos which are available online. And in the production of each one, we like to think we've been getting better and better. In the process, we confirm that there is indeed a wealth of organic experience and technical expertise in the country that could be shared to mitigate some of the damage to the urban environment. The Green Space Media Project wants to amplify the stories of people like Rose Adams, who's a keen gardener who wants to share her hands-on experience.
The beauty about gardening is that it's a way of returning to nature, and you get so much joy just seeing how your plants come up, and oh, I can't even begin to explain what joy gardening brings me.
And small business owners like Mr. Luo, who keep a keen eye on business trends.
I'm starting up the garden because I have lots of interest in this thing. I was raised by people that were doing gardening, and obviously I went to schools like anyone else, but still went back to what I was raised up with.
Now, what we've learned in the last few months of making videos is that it's not enough to simply create content, which is what we started off doing. In order to be more effective, we really do need to do more to connect with urban culture. We do need to be more strategic and find more creative ways to share our content. We have no shortage of creative ideas on how to engage audiences, everything from TikTok videos to animated clips and even cartoons. By repackaging the information, we can reach different audiences not only through our platforms, but through their own social networks. This year, we plan to increase our capacity by building a core team and developing our technical skills on both the production side and distribution side, so that we can do it all in-house at a lower cost. We have 3 simple products that we'll produce on an ongoing basis. A plant care series where we give general guidance on how to look after your plants, an Out and About series with interviews of small business owners, and a Nature Nurture series where we share information on the environment. We are also excited to be partnering with Foundations for Farming to create a video vegetable gardening course that is ideally suited to promote eco-friendly conservation farming, but also is tailored specifically for household vegetable production, which is ideal for most of our urban gardeners.
Hi, I'm Nicholas. I'm also one of the co-founders of Green Space Zambia. My passion is the indigenous plants of Zambia, and I'm really keen on trying to educate people about their benefits and how we can actually enjoy them within our urban spaces.
When resources become available, we have plans to produce more complex series, such as one discussing the lost flora of Zambia, or another one discussing forest commodities and how communities are actually looking for creative ways to commercialize some of their forest products.
Most of our content will be free to the public. We intend to pay for it through a mixture of sponsorships and donor funding, and at a later stage, we intend to monetize some of it through advertising and subscriptions.
So what do we need? At this point, we would really appreciate help to flatten our learning curve. And what we would ask for is any practical training with video and media production, from shooting videos, animation graphics, and also the management side of the business, so that we'll be able to produce multiple series at the same time. Secondly, we need a financial lifeline. This would allow us time to further develop our model and grow our audience. At the moment, every contributor on the team is freelance, and finance would be necessary for these staff to prioritize green space media projects. Assistance in helping us secure our own video recording equipment would be appreciated.
So we're in this for the long term because we know it takes time to bring about meaningful change in a society.
We're excited about the prospect of being able to actually influence popular culture here in Zambia.
We want to create content that not only educates and entertains, but also filters into everyday life, influencing what people think, what they eat, what they wear, and hopefully even sparking discussions.
To find out more about Green Space Zambia, you can contact us at greenspacezambia@gmail.com.
Thank you, Priscilla. That was really impressive. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and please, members of the audience, if you have any questions, do type them into the question box at the bottom of your screen or using the chat function. Priscilla, my first question to you. What are the top 3 challenges you are experiencing in the marketplace on a macro environmental level?
You know, it's been an interesting journey for us. And, you know, Zambia
there's a lot of influences going around, especially in terms of politically and in terms of the environment. So I think in trying to promote our message, which is to kind of further the eco-friendly approach to urban living, I think there is obviously a political sensitivity that we do need to be aware of, and also just the fact of the matter that a lot of people are having to prioritize day to day. So what we're trying to promote may seem a bit further removed from their actual challenges on the ground. So what we're trying to do is just to link everything in the broader spectrum of things.
How would you say how big the market is where you are surfing, and how do you intend to grow that moving forward?
Okay. Well, as I already mentioned, when you look at what people are actually doing, the market is potentially very large, and the good thing about the online environment is that I'm not necessarily competing against anyone. It is, like you mentioned, the engagement aspect. And so what we want to do is not just put content out there and be passive about it. We're trying to develop a model in which we are more aggressive in terms of how we place our data, so that, for me, the dream is actually that without looking for it, people will find our content being sent to them through social media. And people's interests are very obvious. Gardening, farming, that's what people on the ground want to do. And that also has an impact on the environment.
Awesome. My last question to you. How will you ensure that the series that you're creating will be aligned to your core business and its value proposition?
It will be interesting to see how it develops, because at the moment, when it comes to media, there's so many options out there. I think the one thing that we have found is that, what we're doing that no one else is doing is delivering content into people's homes in a way that they haven't seen before. So I think as long as we stick to our core message of making it relevant. So even if it's not obviously so, but if we put it in terms of context, if we contextualize it well, I think that would allow us to continue with the plant side of the business, but also just kind of align it to what people need.
Priscilla, thank you so much for your time. All the best for the future. Let's move on to the third team from our cohort, and that is Cardinal Magazine from eSwatini, led by Bongani Shongwe. Bongani, take the stage.
Good day, I'm Wanidi Shongwe. I'm the founder of Cardinal Magazine, which exists to create proximity between the races and cultures, all through tourism and digital media. Xenophobia and racism have existed for centuries, and they are hate crimes, which commonly create fear amongst people due to socio-economic issues such as wealth disparities and job insecurities, just to name a few. Social media has heightened these tensions as it acts as a court of public opinion, which has escalated and amplified the fear, anger, and hatred amongst the races and cultures purported by misinformation, fake news, and the recycling of old articles. Through the combination of events like the treatment of Muslims after 9/11, the treatment of foreign shop owners and truck drivers, the treatment of international students abroad, the random sporadic shootings that are based on hate crimes, the treatment of international players at the FIFA World Cup and at club level, and also the Black Lives Matter movement last year after the death of George Floyd, and most recently, the escalated violence against Asians due to the COVID-19 pandemic. We felt compelled to create a platform that will not only inform and educate people, but also assist them in unlearning certain biases they may have and other stereotypes they hold about other races and cultures. We also believe that we can assist in job creation, as tourism industry is responsible for creating 1 in 11 jobs globally. And this might assist in reducing the unemployment rate and the fear of job insecurity. I am supported by a wonderful team who assists me in ensuring we work according to our pestle analysis, which covers government policies, the political stability in countries, economic trends, access to disposable income of consumers, the unemployment rates, the consumer attitudes and beliefs, the age distribution, lifestyle trends, religion and cultural taboos, level of innovation in countries, consumer access to data and to technology, consumer distribution, climate change, antitrust laws, to name but a few. It is through these we have identified through the personal analysis that will determine if we lead a successful project or not. Our mission is clear. We seek to empower, celebrate, and appreciate all races and cultures whilst promoting inclusivity, promoting beauty and diversity, and representation of all people across all races and cultures. Our vision is to create a safe space for all races where they can come to learn and unlearn if they have certain biases or stereotypes, and have some place where they feel comfortable to just share and learn. We have segmented our magazines in 3 categories. We have a lifestyle issue, a leisure issue, and a travel publication. The travel one focuses on destination, cultures, and health, and that is headed up by Tanda, who is an experienced journalist who has worked at Cosmopolitan magazine in South Africa, at the Foschini Group, their magazine division, and also at various travel establishments. The lifestyle issue focuses on beauty and fashion, headed up by Boydumelo, who has experience working at Move magazine in South Africa and Drum magazine in South Africa. Our leisure publication focuses on food and art, headed up by Nwanda. The travel and leisure one aim to remove stereotypes associated with travel and food and certain leisure activities, whilst the lifestyle one is aimed to promote self-love, self-worth, and self-esteem, as racism and xenophobia tend to make you question your own identity. Our unique value proposition lays in our direct customer relationship, while we exert high level of control over the customer experience. The customer experience gives us our functional value as an organization, whilst we also focus on the brand experience, which gives us our emotional value with readers. When we combine the customer experience and the brand experience, this then gives us our meaningful value to all our stakeholders. In addition to this, we have a research consortium whereby people can fact check articles to see if they're fake or old, and also to search about common stereotypes they have about other people so they can know if they're true or not. Mainly, we have existed in the digital space and have amassed a readership of 38,000 people, but we are now seeking to branch into physical print copies to reach more people. Our distribution channels include social media platforms and video streaming platforms, subscription deliveries to households, public spaces screens such as at airports, in public transport, and in malls. We'll also be sharing our magazine through our website and app, and through a digital newsstand known as Maxter, to name but a few. We have also sourced 2 distributors, one in South Africa and one in Swaziland, and they shall distribute to our retail partners in the supermarket space, in petrol stations, and at airports. After research, we have adopted a fair pricing strategy that accounts for consumer ability to pay, current market conditions, competitor actions, our input costs, and profit objectives. We also have different plans. We have if you're planning to buy on a single magazine, there's a price for that. If you want to buy a yearly subscription, we have a plan for that. Also, if you'd like to buy a family subscription, there's also a plan for that. And the family subscription includes the adult one and a kids magazine. Our revenue streams lie in our ad spacing on our magazine, websites, and app. Events we'll be holding after recording our video segments, the magazine sales and subscriptions, content production for brands, merchandise, and sale of our short films that we'll be recording. Our plans for 2021 and beyond include branching into a kids magazine in partnership with teachers who have experience in early childhood development, as we feel it is important to educate on racism and xenophobia at an early age if we are to stop this pandemic from spreading. We also like to branch into physical print copies this year, as well as focus on the environment, as we want to promote green travel while reducing our carbon footprint. We're also looking at branching into destination issues in partnership with tourism boards and authorities, and we'd also like to do video segments of varying topics, from systematic institutionalized racism to social aspects and financial literacy, to name but a few. We'd also like to have flash mobs, as people are always on the brink of an outburst. So creating flash mobs to surprise people and boost happiness might assist someone who might be on the verge of a breakdown. We'd also like to do short films which will not only highlight the plight or struggles of the different races and cultures, but also celebrates the different cultures. Our request, we would like to partner with governments at a national level and local level in order to start the conversation nationally and locally. We'd also like to partner with transport service providers so we could go about continue shooting our content across the world. We'd also like to partner with religious leaders as we feel although religions differ, we all have a shared humanity. And we'd also like to partner with organizations that support not only victims of racism and xenophobia, but also educate others on these issues. We'd also like to partner with tourism boards and authorities and schools from primary level to tertiary, such as AFDA and other film schools. We're also seeking investment to the tune of 69,000 US dollars for our content production, which will be used to source photography and videography equipment, including lighting, mics, to name but a few, plus drones. We're also looking at acquiring transport, a 7 to 9 seats that we can use to travel around while we compile our content. We're also seeking this investment in order to acquire all the licenses required and office furniture. We are available across all social media platforms at CATG Mag, and our website and app is still in development. I will now accept any questions you may have. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Bongani, for that. I have questions like I did with Priscilla for you. My first one for you is, you are operating at the intersection of education, travel, and xenophobia. How do you intend to optimize your business model to ensure that it is sustainable?
Through using our subscription-based approach, we'll be able to continually educate and update people on human rights, new laws, and other things that that will educate people on these things. We'll also be sharing other tech-related news and other things.
And what are some of your growth aspirations beyond Africa?
Ideally, we'd like to have a presence, a digital footprint across all the continents, so we can start the conversation there also, as racism is not just based in my country alone or Africa alone, but it's continental and it spans across the whole world. As I listed in my presentation, through the combination of events, in 2010, international students in Melbourne faced racism from the locals there, and the international students were from India. So it's not a thing that's based just in one region, but it's a global pandemic.
Awesome. And tell me, what makes this time right now perfect for your startup or for your magazine?
On the digital side, everyone is online right now. So we'll be able to educate people by using our digital platforms. And for those who prefer physical print copies, we'll also be able to reach them. As with the COVID-19 pandemic, it has heightened violence against the Asian community. So we have to put a stop to this and educate people, as it's not just based on the Asians alone, because people are also losing their jobs. And also job insecurities is what fuels the anger that leads to xenophobia and racism.
Bongani, another one from my side. In your presentation, you mentioned that you'll be launching your website and your app soon. I'm keen to understand, what will be the customer experience for your business?
Ideally, we would like the website and app to be synced, whereby if you sign in on the website, you'll also be able to sign in using the same credentials on the app. And on the app and website, you'll be able to purchase the magazine and also favorite bookmark your articles that you like the most, so you can find them across all devices you may use. We are trying to get as close to you as possible to share the lived experiences of people, because it is easy to say, why am I concerned, when it affects another race or something, because you don't have the lived experience. So we are trying to bring that lived experience closer to you through the app and website. And by personalizing this experience, we'll be able to educate you better.
Awesome. I've got a question here from Roma Meeks. They're asking, they're saying, I love your missions and vision, and it's both timely and most needed. How important is it to your organization to connect all people of the diaspora through your platform?
I believe it's very important to not only educate the locals here, but also people in the diaspora. as there are international citizens who are maybe abroad in the US, for example, who are facing the same things that we might be facing in a foreign country in Africa. So it's important to share the plight of their struggles, as we might have shared experiences. And through educating on that, they might be able to, the locals, they might be able to understand that, hey, these people are from Africa and they're facing the same things they face back home. Maybe we should treat them better.
Cool. Another question here came in from Leslie Williams, who is uncertain about the link between job creation, reducing racism, and xenophobia. And the question to you is, there are multiple reasons behind discrimination. How was this validated in your theory of change?
Sorry, please could you repeat that?
So Leslie's asking, there are multiple reasons behind discrimination. How was this validated in your theory of change?
It is through our research. We did a behavioral segmentation, and we also looked at the psychological aspects, and that helped us determine the main causes of why people tend to be xenophobic or racist. It is through the culmination of, through the acquiring of information in our research that made us reach our conclusion that these main things are the main issues. This is what we need to focus on. But it is not limited to that only. That is just the start.
Cool. Bongani, my last question for you. What has been your biggest lesson thus far while building your startup?
My biggest lesson is that you shouldn't be afraid to restart and shouldn't be afraid to fail. Of course, trends change, people change. So we are always willing to adopt and adjust to the climate and the environment, and we will continually learn as we go.
Awesome stuff. Thank you so much, Bongani. Next up, we have Jocelyn Nyaguse, who is the founder of Impact Chronicles, a team representing Zimbabwe. Welcome to the Demo Day Stage, Impact Chronicles.
Hi everyone, my name is Jocelyn Nyaguse and I am the founder of Impact Chronicles, a platform that showcases and promotes the work of African founders. The 21st century has seen a lot of progress. Africa is making strides in the global business frontier, and there's a growing interest in the African startup landscape. There's also a surge in funding for African startups, which also contributes to Africa's economic growth. But there's one big problem. Stories of up-and-coming startups are very hard to come by. Mainstream media's main focus seems to be on startups that have been acquired or are going through funding rounds. Many startups are failing to take off because they lack the support and the publicity they need. Investors are also struggling to identify the startups that need their funding the most, because most of these startups do not have a digital footprint. Our solution to this is Impact Chronicles, a platform that showcases and promotes the work done by startups in Africa. We tell the authentic story of the African founder and also assist with capacity building. To date, we're currently building a database of African entrepreneurs who will also be assisted by various interest groups. Our storytelling footprint to date is something else. We have showcased and worked with founders from over 12 countries since we started operating 2 years ago. Some of our stories include that of Eric Kaduru, who runs an agribusiness that empowers women through passion fruit farming in Uganda. But now we'd like to take it up a notch. Our goal is to create a docuseries that showcases the work of founders shot in multiple countries across the continent, featuring interviews with founders in their communities and behind-the-scenes commentary from experts. Our key project steps include identifying 50 of the most promising startups, publishing a book around them, and then inviting independent experts who will help us narrow it down to 20 exceptional entities. We will then create a 10-episode show around the 20 startups. What do we need to make this happen? Well, we need funding and most importantly, human capital. We would like to have a global or regional media partner to help with fine-tuning the project and the distribution of our content. Our ask is tied to our cost of production, while the return on investment will most likely come from the book sales and the docuseries itself. We hope that this is something that you would like to help us with. Thank you.
Thank you, Jocelyn, for that. I'm really keen and love what you're doing because, my love for entrepreneurship began when I was at Forbes Africa and I was writing about entrepreneurs across the continent. I'm keen to really understand what is the gap that you are addressing when publications like Company and Forbes Africa exist. What is the gap that you are addressing in this market?
Okay, so I think when I highlighted, there's something in the slide that mentions that one of the biggest gaps is that the stories we're being told are stories that of success. So most of the startups that are being featured are startups that have a bit of traction or startups that are already getting funding, or like the Paystack example, where we then really found out about the work they do because they already got 200 million. So I'm looking at identifying startups that are up and coming, that really need exposure, that most people are not really focused on right now.
Awesome stuff. What would you say are the top 3 challenges of operating in the sector?
Well, startups, founders are really busy. So a lot of the time, most of them are hardly focused on publicity. So there's a lot of education that we need to do as well, because then we need to tell them that storytelling can be used as a business development tool. So we really promote that as well. That's one of the biggest challenges. And the other thing is, well, it's not something that we can change immediately, but Africa is partitioned a lot. So a lot of the content, you need to travel to get it. Remote work is good, but right now with COVID-19, the plan, we really wanted to travel to get the content that we need. But yeah, things have been very difficult with COVID-19.
Yeah, totally understandable. My next question to you is, what would you say was the most pivotal point in your startup journey?
Realizing that things change dramatically and you need to be ready for that. So I think one of the important things that we learned was that pivoting is essential. And sometimes you need to iterate according to feedback and things like that. So yeah, that was the biggest lesson that I've learned.
My last question for you. What do you foresee as the biggest opportunity or opportunities in the marketplace in the future?
Biggest opportunities, possibly if we're speaking about storytelling. Storytelling is really big. Content creation is very, very important because a lot of the time, people don't really know what's going on. So it's really good that we're creating content because that way there's a lot of empowerment as well. And a lot of other people can understand the startup sector. It's really important that we take entrepreneurship up a notch in Africa.
Thank you so much, Jocelyn. Let's move on to our first team. Next up is Ronald Kajeje from Malawi. His startup is called Success Magazine. Ronald, welcome to the Demo Day Stage.
My name is Ronald Kajeje, and I'm a co-founder of Success Magazine. It is a Malawi publication, and our motto is, if it's not me, then who inspires the youths? The magazine was born to solve the following socioeconomic problems. We identify that there is a information gap, there's a dying desire to lead in academic applications, and there is a lack of networking, also limited platform for exposure. For us to solve these socioeconomic problems, we come up with the magazine, and we are solving these problems by providing educative articles written by experts, one-on-one interviews with achievers, uncovering hidden talents, and connecting the youths. Our value proposition, these are attributes that makes us unique. The first thing is we uncover hidden talents, whereby we identify young people who have got exceptional skills we interview them and we cover their stories on our magazine and newsletters. We also enlighten and connect the youths. Once we have identified those youths, we try to connect them with like-minded people who can help to shape their skills and talents. We are very passionate about youth affairs, and our magazine is informative and educative in nature, and at the same time, it is also inspiring and entertaining. The ecosystem mapping. Our strength is that we have got a strong teamwork. We are creative and innovative. We have got a strong negotiation and networking skills, and our team is made up of highly professionals who are available, there's availability of different professionals. The opportunities, there's a readily available market which has been properly targeted. There's a platform for training and motivation talks, as well as a platform for career guidance. The threats, because of the social media, there's a spread of fake news. Our mission is to speak to youth from different backgrounds and inspire them to achieve personal success, enlightenment, and have impact in their communities. Our objectives. The objectives of our magazine is to educate, motivate, inspire, connect, and entertain the youths. Our ecosystem mapping, we go to the marketing strategies. We use direct sales, referral, third-party advertisement, and corporate social responsibility. On the other hand, when it comes to distribution strategies, we use social media for online content and direct sales. We also donate free magazine to organizations that deals with youths and libraries, public libraries, university libraries, and selected few secondary school libraries. Reaching this far, we have managed to register our magazine, our business, with all relevant authorities in Malawi. That is the Registrar General and the Archive Office in Zomba, which is responsible for registration of media. We have also managed to win Jamlab Scholarship, where we learned about entrepreneurship and media studies. We have also managed to publish our magazine and our newsletter, both first issues. Currently, we are working on our website and newsletter that will be published next month. We have also managed to feature international stars in our newsletter. From the demand side, we have categorized this following group of people as the one that makes us that are on the demand side: university students, secondary school students, entrepreneurs, college dropouts, institutional, and social commentators. Our addressable market, it is we are targeting anyone who can read English, and it is estimated at about 1 million. We are only targeting 12% of the addressable market, and because of the limited resources, we have segmented our target market to 20%, which is about 25,000 people. Our competitors analysis. From the industry side, we have identified that the industry is cool and wide open, which makes it difficult to be bought out by competitors. And the competitors have got together teams applied Lilongwe. We have also identified other indirect competitors like social media, mainstream media, and organizations that publish newsletters. Our business model, we use ad-based revenue model, whereby our people advertise their businesses with us. We also use transaction, which is also known as direct sales, where we sell our magazine using different platforms, both e-copy and hard copy. We also use freemium model. This is whereby we give the magazine for free. We give the newsletter for free, but we sell the magazine. The revenue streams, we generate money from copy sales, advertisement, grants and sponsorship, whereby grants and sponsorship makes a very good percentage of our revenue. We have projected that in the year 2021, we'll be able to generate money amounting to 140 million Malay kwacha. In the year 2021, we'll make a loss of about 20 million. This is because we are going to use a lot of money to buy equipment, personal computers, cameras, and so on. Reaching this far, we are seeking for sponsors and funders. We are looking for funds amounting to $10,000, which is about 7.4 million Malay kwacha. The money will be used for the budget and operating cost for 6 months. The money also used to print hard copies that will be distributed for free in different public libraries, as well as selected few secondary school libraries, plus a marginalized group of people. We are also looking for partners, most especially those who have got knowledge in IT. We can partner with them. And we can also partner with other publishing companies for the brand extension. These are my contact details. Thank you. And remember, it is our duty to inspire people. If it's not me, then who inspire the youths? Thank you.
Awesome stuff. Thank you so much, Ronald. I want to find out, how do you intend to position Success Magazine in the future, considering that the environment that you're in is very dynamic?
Okay, we sell content, and our magazine is made up of, we have got a different touch in the sense that we are bringing experts, achievers, and youngsters. So because of the approach that we are using, that we have got, we are uncovering youngsters, achievers, as well as experts. We believe that using that approach, we will still be relevant.
Cool. And who do you consider to be your biggest competitor? And how do you ensure that you stand out?
Currently, our biggest competitors here in Malawi, we don't necessarily see those magazines as our biggest competitors, but those who are seeing that as our biggest competitors are indirect competitors like social media and the other international organizations that publish newsletters. So we are positioning ourselves in a such way that we are introducing some other areas like a YouTube channel where we'll be sharing video content in order to continue to be relevant.
I've got a question here from Leslie. She's asking, please share your value proposition again. She was battling to see the difference between your value / benefit to customer and what your company values are.
Okay, our value proposition, the list of our value proposition is like the first, we uncover hidden talents. We are enlightening and connecting the youth empowerment. We are big to ethics, passionate about youth affairs. We are informative and educative, and at the same time, it is also inspiring and entertaining. Those are our value propositions.
Last question for you, Ronald, from France. Can you explain how Success Magazine and how the magazine and the newsletter relate to each other?
Success Magazine and newsletter, Success Newsletter is a sister publication of Success Magazine. We use the same approach. The only difference is that Success Newsletter, it is shared for free, and we cover so few stories, and it is published monthly. While Success Magazine, it is a biannual publication, and we sell the copy at about $1.3 e-copy. That's the only difference, but the approach is the same.
Awesome stuff. Thank you so much, Ronald. Great presentation there, as said in the chat. Our sixth and final team for today is led by Zidilson Almeida, all the way from Angola, who heads up the startup called Manifesto. Zidilson, please take the floor.
We all know how tech can improve lives, but we are also aware of the challenges it introduces to the world. In the media landscape, the internet has allowed for an incredible dispersion of information. Most media outlets are impartial, and as a result, the environment for independent journalists and local newspapers is very harsh and unsustainable. Another issue is the fake news phenomenon that is impacting countries globally in dangerous ways. This is something that is aggravating, and if we do nothing about it, can be devastating to the world. Finally, there is the digital inclusion problem affecting sub-Saharan Africa harder than any other region of the world. All of these problems worry us and led us to launch Manifesto back in 2017. Manifesto is a digital news aggregator that democratizes access to news in Portuguese-speaking countries, and its objective is to empower Africa with information. As a matter of fact, since the launch of Manifesto, we have gathered more than 1 million news articles in a continuous, automatic, and sustainable way. We have also been featured in international publications like Jamlab and Disrupt Africa. More importantly, the work we have done with the platform has allowed me to be selected as an Obama leader by the Obama Foundation back in 2018. Yes, Manifesto always focused on tackling fake news, but we have been doing it the old traditional way. Long investigation and research, checking and double-checking sources, etc., etc., all of which demanding lots of effort, time, and of course, money. Lots of money, something that we really do not have. This did not mean we felt defeated, no. Actually, it pushed us to think differently and constantly look for innovative and sustainable ways for getting the job done. We struggled, pivoted, and continue to struggle, but we never gave up. And with the help of the program and its amazing people, today I am happy to introduce you to Nushu. Nushu is short for Manushu, which in Angola is a common household name for Big Brother. Not the TV show, but an actual Big Brother, as in someone you look up to, trust, and oftentimes reach out to whenever you need. This is why we felt it was the most appropriate name to give to this service. You see, Nushu is an automated fact checker that uses a machine learning algorithm to quickly identify fake news. Why is Nushu so cool? For starters, Nushu can help almost anyone in the world, not only Africans, as it can analyze news in almost any given language, and for free. We are working around the clock to bring you Nushu this month on Facebook. We chose Facebook first because in some countries, like Angola, for example, people can use the platform for free, meaning you don't have to pay for internet to ask Nushu whether a news article is true. This means anyone with a Facebook account can easily find out if a specific information is fake or not. I am thrilled about this possibility because with Manifesto, I have a lot of people coming to me on a daily basis, sending information and asking, hey Zed, is this true? Guess what? With Nushu, they will have someone they can trust and ask about any given news article, any day, anytime. Nushu will always answer them. Finally, the artificial intelligence will allow Nushu to improve continuously and getting more accurate as more people ask him about news articles. And this is something remarkable. Anyone can use Nushu. However, to monetize it, we are initially focusing on journalists and media outlets. According to the International Federation of Journalists, they have more than 600,000 members, whilst the World Association of News Publishers boasts a staggering 18,000 publications affiliated with them. How are we going to make money? We will be accepting donations initially, but we want to sell subscriptions and licenses to journalists, publications, and private companies, and offer them access to detailed analysis reports of news articles. Finally, we can sell Nushu as a personalized service that can be modified and adapt to serve any given purpose that would benefit the wonders of artificial intelligence. With this revenue model, we forecast that by the end of the third year, we will have more than 4,000 paying users and with profits of more than $1.5 million. In our pessimistic approach, we will break even in 1.2 years. We are launching Nushu this month, but we started working on it in July of last year. We want to release a landing page, a browser extension, and an app in the second quarter of this year, and hope to create a fact-checking forum in Angola by the end of the year. We hope this forum to bring Angolan media outlets together and with the help of Nushu identify fake news trends being circulated and collaborate in order to counterattack them. This would be the first initiative of its kind in Angola, and we believe it could be replicated all across Africa. In terms of competition, we have tech players like Logically, Full Fact, and NetVerify, whom have resources, manpower, access, and money. And then we have traditional ones like Africa Check that we really don't see them as competition, but as potential clients and or partners to tackle fake news. That is why we really need strategic partnerships to help us refine Nushu, prepare it to be as successful as it can be, and make a real impact in Africa and in the world. We also need $250,000 to increase our team and buy equipment to further develop the machine learning algorithm and improve Nushu's conversational skills and higher computational power, which is vital for Nushu to be ready to serve anyone, anytime. I am Zedilson de Almeida, and I lead a small but focused and committed team with expertise in different areas, and we have the necessary drive to continue this journey and make a real impact in Africa and in the world. Nevertheless, if you think you can help us realize our dream in any way, don't be shy. Reach out to us. We would love to talk to you. So, what are you waiting for? Nushu will give you a different sense of confidence about what you read on the news. So, scan this QR code and drop us a line. We'll let you know once it's ready for you. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much for that. A couple of questions for you, like I did with everybody else. Fake news is becoming a multi-billion dollar, if I can say, industry, considering profits and costs incurred in the sector, right? What is your comparative and competitive advantage in the marketplace?
Well, that's true. Actually, we in Africa, we are in a disadvantage. We think our competitive advantage is to be that we are actually based in Africa, and we want to first target the African market. In Angola, for example, or in the Portuguese-speaking realm, we already have the experience, okay, with Manifesto for these 3 past years. And we think that we know the continent, and that's our main advantage here for Africa at first. Yeah.
I've got a similar question from Dimitri, and he wants to know how does Nushu differ from your competitors? And is your focus only on Lusophone Africa, or Lusophone media rather?
So in terms of Manifesto, which is a news aggregator, yes, our experience is mainly around Lusophone countries. The algorithm can actually analyze news in any given language, as I said during my presentation. Okay, and so anyone can check any piece of information from anywhere in the world, and that's where we want to venture to.
That was a question from Dimitri, asking you who your competitors are, and whether your focus is just on Lusophone media, or will you look at other media as well?
Nushu will be or can be used anywhere in the world. So at this stage, we are ready to launch globally. Let's say in terms of competition, as I said during the presentation as well, the tech startups at this stage are very well prepared comparing to us. And then again, in artificial intelligence, it's a kind of a new trend. And in Angola, for example, we have very few developers working on this. So yes, let's say that we are at a disadvantage at this point, at this moment. We want to work to overcome that.
Yeah, getting to the question by France, what will the user experience be like on Nushu? And will he, as a user, get to report on a particular story?
So as I said in the presentation, we are working to launch it this month, but we worked around the clock, and actually it's already launched. That's the big news I'm giving you today. So you can scan this code right here and start seeing the user experience for yourself. But answering the question, the user can send a link to Nushu, and Nushu will answer them about that specific piece of information, if it's true or not. In terms of the report, well, that's something that we are working to offer to paying customers. So paying customers will be getting a detailed report, so that when they are writing their stories or they are making some investigative reports, they can actually base it and use that information to give more credibility to their work.
Thanks, Ed. My final question for you. Considering that you are working with cutting-edge scalable AI technology, how are you intending to democratize the use of technology in other countries and media platforms?
With Manifesto, we try to democratize access to news, as we aggregate news from all over the place, right? With Nushu, we want to allow people to have someone they can reach out to at any given time and ask what about this information? Is this real? Is this fake? Okay, so that's why I said we launched this on Facebook first. Facebook has a lot of users. In some countries in Africa, it's free to use Facebook, so you don't pay for internet. And as I said, the digital inclusion is a big issue at least in Southern Africa. Okay, so if I can use Facebook for free and I can reach out to Nushu and send the link, and Nushu tells me it's fake, so we think that's going to be like a huge thing, allowing for virtually anyone getting access and being educated about what is being spread in the media.
Thank you so much, Zed. And that brings us to the end of our program for today, ladies and gentlemen. As Basil says, congratulations, and he's pleased with everybody's wonderful hard work, and so am I, leading this great team of innovators on the continent. 6 teams with new ideas that will bring new conversations to the fore. Personally, I'm really excited about what the future holds for all you guys, and I hope that you as the audience members have had a great time and would in some way be able to help and assist in the growth of these startups on the continent. Before we go, I would like to acknowledge the support of our funders and partners once again. CEDA, the Swedish International Development Agency, through the CHARM project for their generous support, Open Society Foundation's program on independent journalism, Tumulukhong, Wits Journalism, and Wits University. And that's it from my side. Remember that if you need to speak to any of the team, we've shared that lookbook with you on email. We can send it to you again if you haven't received it. Please continue to keep in touch with us or engage us on our social media platforms, or drop us an email at jamlab@journalism.co.za. Until the next Jamlab Demo Day, for myself, Tapo Chabalala, and the Jamlab team, it's goodbye and God bless.